Good morning. My name is Theo Chapin-Leff. I am a young, athletic white male.
And good morning. I'm Melissa Shepline, Theo's mom.
And we're happy to serve as the worship associates today and to welcome you here. I invite us to take a deep breath and center ourselves with these words from Unitarian Universalist Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak. Let the songs we sing, and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for our disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together. Come, let us worship. When we gather together, we join our siblings in faith in a chalice lighting, which has been the symbol of Unitarian Universalism for many decades. Ben Leff and Lucy Chapin-Leff will be lighting the chalice. We light our chalice this morning as a reminder of our connections to each other and all life. Let this light burn in our hearts, even in the face of fear and grief. Let this light be a beacon of hope, a beacon of joy, and a beacon of liberating love. And now please rise and body your spirit for hymn 118, This Little Light of Mine.
Thanks, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. We are a church of many different ages, bodies, genders, histories, theologies, identities, and beliefs. And we are united in our commitment to our mission, which is to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. My name is Reverend Beth Monholland. My pronouns are she, hers. I am a short, middle-aged white woman with short, dark hair and glasses, and I am honored to serve as the lead minister of this congregation alongside our associate minister, Reverend Sally Fritchie. And whether you are joining us here in the sanctuary today or joining us online, I'm so glad you have chosen to share time with us, and I trust that today's service will bring you what your heart needs. I want to bid a special welcome to any guests who have joined us today, and I invite you to complete a connections card if you would like to stay connected to us and learn more about the life of our congregation. You can leave that at the welcome table in our entryway or drop it in the offering plate later in the service. As I mentioned, we are a congregation of all ages, which means we welcome the little noises and distractions that young people can bring into a service. And kids are invited to stay in the sanctuary for the entirety of a service. But we do have our REE, Religious Exploration and Engagement classes today. And after the time for all ages, which is noted in your order of service, kids and REE volunteers will be invited to go to their classrooms. And for those who will find this more to their taste, our nursery is open for little ones under 5. And no matter your age, if you need to move around or keep your hands busy in order to listen, we do have coloring and activity packets in the entryway. You're welcome to grab one of those at any time. And if you just need to stretch your legs or need a little more room, you can join the live stream of this service in Fellowship Hall. That's a great space if you truly just want to move around instead of sitting still while you listen. And additionally, we are living in endemic times. You are always welcome for your safety and the safety of others to wear a mask at any time. And as a way to easily signal to people your comfort with contact, we have lanyards in the entryway. Yellow and red ones indicate that you would really just like people to maybe wave from a distance rather than hug you. And you should always hug after getting consent anyway. These are some of the ways that we practice community care for each other. And in the spirit of community care and connections, I want to invite us this morning to take a few minutes to greet each other. If you're joining us online, I invite you to drop a hello and your name in the YouTube chat. And here in the room, I will ring our chimes, and that will be your cue to turn to your neighbor and say, hello, how are you today? If you don't know them, ask them their name. And if you feel very energetic and inspired, feel free to get up and walk around the room. I trust that you'll be able to hear the chime the second time when I bring us back together. Thank you for those warm and energetic greetings. You know, some ministers, in order to get ready for a Sunday morning, need some contemplation time. Some of you may have noticed I'm not one of them. I do my contemplation, which I do on a regular basis, in other spaces. What I need to get ready truly on Sunday mornings is to walk around and talk to people. Being able to greet folks brings me deep joy, to be honest. And I am feeling not just happiness, but joy in this moment, and I know because my jaw is tingling. And in my body, that's one of the ways that joy shows up for me. It's a message to me like this moment matters. And I don't know where joy shows up for you, but we're going to be exploring joy in the month of April. That's our worship theme, and in various ways, we're going to circle around to, in these times, how does joy even matter? Why is it a necessity? But I know for me, joy is a necessity because it is what keeps refilling my well at time and time again so that I can show up as my whole self in all the work and spaces that I'm called to do. It's hard in these days, maybe in all days, but in these right now, to think that joy is maybe something other than frivolity. There is so much that consumes our attention, that activates our fears legitimately, that activates our anger, and anger can be a fuel to light righteous fires, but we have to make room for more than fear and rage. In order to create mutual flourishing and thriving, we need joy, and we need that through each other. Yesterday, I went to the Hands Off rally. I know many of you were there. And some of you weren't because you had other things to do. And what I want to say about that is that it's okay. We show up for the things that we can show up for. We do the work that each of us can do. And while that brought me joy yesterday, to see those hundreds and hundreds of people in Westside Park, to run into quite a few of you, and to just coincidentally bump into Dana Antonelli in time to march the entire circumference of Westside Park with her and random strangers. Whatever you were doing to renew your spirit, to be with your family, to engage in art, to rest, what I hope is this month of exploring joy brings you more reminders of why that is so necessary. Joy is a serious matter, but that does not mean it has to be a solemn one. Joy can also be fun, and this morning, our time for all ages is hopefully going to be fun for all of us. And so I'm going to invite whatever kids want to come forward, to come on up. Just gather here. I'm going to tell you a little story, and it might involve several Muppets. This is a hand puppet that I made. I love this sound it makes. In a church service a few years ago. And it was a church service about play and how play can be a spiritual practice. And so I decided to bring this out today because as we talk about joy, Mabel asked if this puppet's name is Disco. I didn't actually name it. I call it Purple Puppet. Super helpful. But now, thanks to Mabel, this is Fancy Disco. So Fancy Disco wants to know, do you all know what joy is? I said we're going to talk about joy. What is joy, Mabel? Okay, I asked what is joy, and Mabel answered, joy is a character from Inside Out. And that is 100% true. And side note, Mabel, I had a student once who told me, you remind me of Joy from Inside Out. Totally felt inspired by that. So one of the ways that we can create joy and experience joy is when we come together and have a really good time with people that we love, like at a birthday party maybe, or here, Mabel. I swear I don't prompt her or pay her. Here, and Mabel, that is a good point, because one of the ways that we create joy as a church community is through church service, but also church events. And one of those events is coming up in 2 weeks, and it is our church's service auction. Do you all know what an auction is? No? Anybody here know what an auction? Yeah, Owen knows what an auction is. Go ahead, Owen. All right, so Owen absolutely correctly described a classic auction. It's where there's a bunch of people in a crowd, and then there's some amazing artifact or art, and there's somebody going like, who wants to buy this? Do I hear 1,000? Do I hear 10,000? And then people get to buy that amazing thing. And that is sort of what we do, but in a very fun, interactive, silent auction way. So our auction, instead of people bringing like an artifact and somebody live bidding, we used to do that, but we do it a little differently now. People here at the church can offer to do things for each other, and then the person at the auction gets to buy it. And that can be like you're gonna rake leaves, or you're gonna host a dinner party, or bake bread. I'll be honest, I have tentatively agreed in my brain, just not on paper yet, that I'm gonna make Southern biscuits once a month. It is my specialty. And deliver it to whoever wins that bid. They're gonna get Southern style biscuits from me once a month for a year, right? I know, now that I've said it out loud, I need to get my acting gear and submit the auction item. So people actually here in the church say, there's something I can do, like bake bread. There's a service I can provide, like mow your lawn. I can gather folks together for a dinner party. Or this coming year, somebody is auctioning off a roller skating party in January. Lots of people will get to participate in that. And you all, are you ready for this? Roller skating party in January, but an ice cream party in July. Who would want to miss out on that? And I've heard that at our auction party, there might be a fuzzy purple monster puppet, even better than disco. There you go. And the auction itself, while you get the opportunity to get all these amazing things, the auction itself is a great party. It's going to take place, like I said, in 2 weeks. It is Saturday, April 19th. Kids, are you putting that in your busy calendars? I see that you are. So lots of people are going to come. It'll be right here at the church. There's going to be cool music to listen to, a delicious dinner party. And while we're walking around, sitting around, talking to each other, having fun, that's when you get the opportunity, as Owen mentioned, to bid on all of the amazing things that folks have donated. And all of the money that we gather that night, that people bid on and say, yes, $10,000 for that fuzzy purple Muppet, all of that goes right back into the operations of the church so that we can keep doing the amazing things we do. So I'm sure everybody here is good at something, has something they want to share, because the auction works best when everybody pitches in and offers our gifts to the church. I bet even the fuzzy purple monster can do something.
That sounds amazing. I wish there was something I could do.
I bet there is. Isn't there something you really like?
Well, I do like to sing. Maybe I could do that? Oh, but no, I'm too shy.
No, I know you can do it. Do you have a favorite song? Maybe we could all sing it together and help you not be so shy.
I do know one song.
What is it?
Do you know?
I think I do, and I bet lots of people in here do. Should we give it a try? All right.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, everybody has to help, though.
Mana.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Mana.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Mana. Dooby. Whoa. Mana. Mana. Mana.
Well, what do you think? I liked it. That little monster sure can sing.
Yeah, the purple one wasn't bad either.
Thank you, Fuzzy Purple Monster, Statler, and Waldorf. Thank you, kids. Now that you all know a little bit more about our auction, you can be sure to get your parents and your grown-ups excited about it. But for now, you can be excited about going to your classrooms for RE. Are you ready to go? Yay! Yes! Thank you, Juan. And truly, thank you, everybody. Playing together is truly one of the ways that we create joy. Play and joy truly are acts of resistance to tyranny and despair. So thank you for that little bit of playfulness here this morning. And thank you, Chris and Jared, for creating that, inviting me to dust off my acting chops. We have a practice here when we gather each week that we call joys and sorrows. So we use the word joy a lot, every single week, sometimes I think without necessarily thinking about it. But it's an act of spiritual generosity for us to remind each other when we gather that we are bringing our whole lives and that the wholeness of our lives necessarily includes suffering, grief, sorrow, and the sparks of happiness and joy and gratitude that see us through those joys and sorrows. And so this morning, we'll do our joys and sorrows, as has become our practice over this past year, by first inviting us into an embodied ritual of singing a blessing song. And then for those who are able and feel called today, you may come forward to the chalice table here or the altar table in the back and drop a stone for your sorrows into the water, a petal for your joys. And just as those bowls of water can hold both the sinking stone and the floating petal, you too are held in this community with care and with love. We will also later in the service share any spoken joys or sorrows people would like shared aloud. And so if you do have something you want shared aloud today, you're welcome to write that on a joy and sorrow card in your pew rack and bring them forward or put them in the offering plate later in the service. Or you can email them to us. I'll check email, and that's at joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. I invite us now to come forward if you are called, and for all of us as we feel moved to sing.
We live our mission at this congregation in many ways. Building community means holding space for our joys and sorrows, and also connecting day to day and week to week through the opportunities, both within our congregation. We invite you to subscribe and read our weekly e-news to stay up to date on all the activities offered through our REE program and our social action councils. This morning, I want to highlight a few things coming up this week. The Urbana-Champaign Reproductive Justice Week kicks off tomorrow, and there are many events throughout the week inviting us all to celebrate and protect bodily autonomy and reproductive health. Join our Queer UU and Allies group for several events this month. April 10th, there will be a fun craft and snack night in Fellowship Hall to build community and share joy with one another. And then on April 11th, we'll welcome guest speaker Chris Mosier at the Knights Auditorium at the Spurlock Museum for a program titled Celebrating Gender Diversity, Moving Towards Advocacy. Sorry, April 12th, thank you. Okay, April 12th. Chris is a nationally known trans athlete and advocate from Chicago, and we're excited to welcome him to our community. We hope many members of UUCUC will plan to attend this event, which also serves to meet our UUA guidelines as a welcoming congregation. And mark your calendar for our spring coffee house on April 26th. You can still sign up to share your talents and to bring desserts for this wonderful event, which will also celebrate Reverend Sally. Celebrate it, that's interesting. Read more details about these and other events in our NUUs, and check out the full calendar of events in Rome. Generosity and offer, Each Sunday, in recognition of our very real interdependence and reliance on each other, we pass the plate and share our offering with an organization doing the work of justice in the world. Our shared offering partners for April is Keep Our Clinics campaign of Abortion Care Network. The Keep Our Clinics campaign provides funding to independent abortion clinics to help with necessary security improvements, medical equipment, legal costs to maintain compliance with politically motivated regulations, clinic building maintenance, and community education and advocacy. You can give through Realm and via the online portal on our website, or if you are here in the sanctuary, the basket will be passed, and checks can be made out to UUCUC, and in the memo put shared offering. Half of all non-pledge donations will go towards sustaining the work of this church, and the other half will go directly to our shared offering partner. We invite you to give whatever is generous for you. This is also the time to submit a written joy or sorrow. I'll invite the band and crooners to come forward for our offering music, and the offering will be gratefully received.
thank you to Jim and the band and the crooners who, I don't know, it's been about 6 weeks ago. I was like, hey, do y'all know this song? And they were like, not really. And I'm like, could you learn it? And they were like, absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for your generosity, for the ways that you generously share in this congregation, both of your time and your money, and also by making space to be together, to nurture our spirituality. The spoken joys and sorrows that folks would like shared today, I have several online. If you still have cards, you're welcome to still bring those up. No pressure, this is always an invitation. I'd like to begin with a joy and sorrow that someone shared 2 weeks ago and it got buried and I didn't share it. And so this is from Brittany Shipley, who has been a member here for a couple of years. She sang a couple of weeks ago. And this is both a joy and a sorrow. The joy is that she got a new job. It is a wonderful opportunity that is going to provide her with financial stability, but it is, and this is the sorrow, in California. So Brittany will be moving out to California at the end of this month, and we will miss her, but are so, so happy for this amazing opportunity. And from today, Beth Simpson shares joy for being out and about with the Boneyard Arts Festival. From at least 2006 to today, this festival has been an annual delight, and Beth has been in it and loves it. I think that is true for many, many people here today. Thank you. From Gail Cohen, delighted to run into so many church friends at yesterday's demonstration at Westside Park, indeed. A joy from Jessica Shorts. I was elected on Tuesday along with a full slate of Democrats as a trustee for the Champaign Township. Congratulations, Jessica. That is fabulous. A joy from Sarah Coleman. A wholesome joy I'd like to share is my energetic 8-month-old puppy who slept calmly by the feet of my girlfriend and I while we watched Jurassic Park. Life does find a way. An 8-month-old puppy sleeping for a couple of hours? That's not just a joy, that's a miracle. And this is from Janice Ward. My mother passed away in 2020. It was sudden, and my dad took it very hard. But he now has found a woman who he loves and who has helped him rejoin society and find joy. So grateful for that. Life does indeed find a way. Thank you. Thank you for what you've shared today. And thank you for making space for all that we are always silently carrying in our hearts. And I'd like us to take just a minute of silence together. I'm going to ring our singing bowl, and I'll invite you, as you listen to the tone of that bowl, to open up your heart to what you are holding and to remember that it is being held by everyone here in that silence and stillness together. I'll ring it again to bring us back together. I have a reading for us this morning that is a poem I discovered probably 6 or 7 years ago. I've kept it saved. It's not printed anywhere. Somebody passed it along and passed it along. It was a friend of a friend of a friend. in advocacy circles in Wisconsin. It's called The Truth About Saving the World by Ali Muldrow. I had friends read it at my ordination, and I have a copy of it hanging on my office wall. And I've shared bits of it in various circles here, but I want to share its entirety with you all this morning. What if I told you the revolution doesn't need your stress or your overworked exhausted? What if I invited you to let go of that rage and resentment, to set yourself free first? What if I asked you to spare this movement your fear and panic at the expense of all those bitter jokes? If I told you this movement is fueled only by your every joy, would you believe me? Would you show up with a boombox and shoes unlaced? Would you invite your little cousin to sing like church at the protest? Would you kiss in public and call yourself courageous? Would you hang out in your homie's garden plot, braiding garlic? Would you make love more often and embrace your every ecstasy? Would you read quietly, knowing you were changing the world with every moment of chill? Would you find yourself giving daffodils to strangers or topless in a swaying hammock? Would you whisper sweet words to yourself in the mirror and cook dinner with a dear friend? Would you suddenly have time to write poems or take a bike ride with your daughter? Would you plan a vacation to someplace beautiful and savor your food for the sake of us all? Would you pay more attention to what makes you happy? Would you sleep in and drink wine while making art? Would the way you feel come into focus? Would loving people be the most important part? Will you come to replace complaining with writing thank you notes? Will noticing beauty become your religion? I want to tell you, the revolution will be joyful, that your happiness is a necessity and your love will be remembered. Your love will be remembered. The revolution will be fueled only by your every joy. So Ali Muldrow is an African-American educator and activist, as I said, in Wisconsin. And she wrote those words at least 6 years ago. And it seems incredible to me that as much as the world was hurting when she wrote them, it is certainly hurting perhaps even more now. We are, not just as a nation, but as a planet, bowed with grief and fear. And I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to tell you that these political times are perhaps the most perilous they have been in any of our lifetimes. I don't need to tell you that too many people are struggling in the vice grip of poverty and injustice and the fear of what more is to come down the pike. I don't need to tell you how white supremacy culture and capitalist systems and the people who serve power are destroying our lives on a daily basis. You already know these things. It's why so many of you showed up at that park yesterday. It's why you show up every day for the work you do in this congregation and in the communities that we serve. And you also know, because you share it in the joys and sorrows, you share it privately with each other and with me. You also know how crushing is the weight of your personal and private grief. And we carry so much pain and loss. We have so many hardships beyond these walls that speaking of joy can seem almost pointless. Almost. I've been exploring joy for quite a few years because, as someone told me once, I and so many of us live our lives as if we don't deserve it. And so what I've come to realize is that joy does not erase our sorrows. It does not negate injustice, but what it does do is joy sustains us through them. in a project begun in 2014 at the Yale Center for Faith and Culture. Theologians and religious scholars from across the spectrum of faith movements, including humanism, were invited to explore how we as people engage in meaning-making in the face of suffering. How do we respond to grief and hurt, to disasters and disappointments without completely giving in to despair? And these theologians named that happiness, being happy in our lives is important, but it isn't necessary to resistance, because happiness can come and go. It will ebb and rise like a tide in the face of our external circumstances. Happiness is nice, but it doesn't actually help us make meaning of our experiences. But joy, these various theologians proclaimed, can be a source of meaning-making and sustenance. Or, as UU feminist theologian Sharon Welch has written, joy, deep, abiding joy, engenders a complex, fluid, concrete love for all life that helps us work against oppression with resistance and resilience. This kind of joy that Welch names is durable. It's hardy and it's heartening. It's, if we want to equate it to happiness, it's a happiness that's grown beyond its borders, that takes us deeply into and at the same time out of ourselves. Joy, this kind of durable, hardy joy, is necessary because where it comes from is our connections to others, to nature, to beauty, to the divine, whatever we may name that. And I'm going to be honest, it's been really hard for me over these past couple of weeks as I prepared for this sermon, for this entire month of talking about joy, to feel joy. It's been hard in the day-to-day grind of the world to remember the message of Muldrow's poem, to remember the message in Mary Chapin Carpenter's song that we heard. Life is hard, and we can fly. Joy will fuel our resistance. And it is hard. It is hard to remember that part of joy means noticing and paying attention to the connections around me. And that can mean all kinds of things. The connections of greeting people on a Sunday morning, but also maybe the connections of noticing. Have you been noticing how green the grass is getting here in Champaign? Have you stopped to admire the daffodils and the crocuses, and even, God bless, the surest sign of spring, the dandelions? Every time I pause to notice those things in the past couple of weeks, there's a voice in my head saying, move on, go faster, do something else. And so perhaps you also are feeling the urgency of the moment and the pull of despair. And perhaps it's pulling your attention that noticing joy has been challenging. But even without these current crises, we in America have long turned busyness and productivity into our religion. And far too many of us right now and for decades have been wearing badges of overworked, exhausted, as if they're a prize. And so I'm reminded by Ali Muldrow's poem, I am reminded by those hardy little dandelions that yes, the work needs to be done no matter how we might feel, but how we feel matters. And so we do ourselves and others a disservice when we forget what the point of all the work is. And the point is, as both the poem and the song imply, if we aren't making room for joy, then what are we making room for? So I need the reminders from poetry and from music that yes, there is a whole lot of sorrow, but there's also a whole lot of ground to gain. It is a hard enough life to be living, but we can fly. We fly by making art and music and gardens and laughter and connections to each other. Because joy, that kind of durable, hardy joy that exists whether or not we are happy, that exists no matter what the external conditions are, that kind of joy is always present for all of us in moments both momentous and mundane. We just have to pay attention. We need to live our lives not as if joy is a frivolity, but as if joy is the necessity, as if it is the wellspring water that nourishes our thirst throughout our lives. Because as Ali Muljo's poem says, we are not going to be saved by more overworking. We are not going to be saved by our anger and rage. We are going to be saved by our intentional, mindful, joyful connections in community. And I find deep comfort in that affirmation of our UU value of interdependence. And I know it's frustrating, especially now, to hold a value of interdependence while so much of what we have created as humans is about disconnection. And I'm not implying, and I don't think any of those theologians or the artists are either, that joy is some magic wand that is going to make everything better. But it is the water that will see us through. In her seminal theological study on evil, in which, by the way, she and others describe evil as disconnection, Brazilian theologian Ivone Guevara shares the story of a Brazilian woman named Carolina Maria de Jesus, an Afro-Brazilian woman who lived in the slums of Sao Paulo and who, quoting Guevara, succeeded for years in keeping a journal of her daily activities, despite living in abject poverty in which she and her children had to scrounge and literally collect trash and paper just to get by. Carolina Maria de Jesus kept a journal that was eventually published in Brazil and elsewhere, witnessing her search to connection and joy. In one passage of that journal, de Jesus writes, "I got out of bed at 4 a.m. to write. I opened the door and I gazed at the starry sky." When I first read that years ago, I was immediately reminded of an Oscar Wilde quote. I love Wilde. He said, "We're all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars." And if anyone could be said to literally be in a gutter, it would be a woman like De Jesus, a Black woman, a second-class citizen in her own country, living in some of the worst conditions on the planet, who made time, incredibly, not only to experience joy, but to record it. And her joy was not about the material conditions in which she lived. It wasn't about some hope for an afterlife. Her joy was about the precious moments, the noticing the beauty all around her, noticing the faces of her children and how they nurtured each other. Joy did not and does not and will not make the gutters disappear. But the gutters do not make the joy of the stars shine any less bright, and we need to remember that. Sojourner Truth once said it this way: "Life is a hard battle anyway. If we laugh and sing a little as we fight the good fight of freedom, it makes it all go easier. I will not let my life's light be determined by the darkness around me." Sojourner Truth and every enslaved and former enslaved person in her time knew far more than I ever will about the world's darkness. And if she could advocate for singing for joy in her life, then we can take inspiration from her and remember that joy, durable joy, matters. And so that singing, playing, connecting, tapping into that wellspring of joy is truly an act of defiance. It is resistance against the world's injustice. Because the work that we are called to do in this time to remake the world into a place of love and thriving, we are called by our talents and the world's needs. It's hard and it's exhausting. If we are people on the margins, it's even harder. And if we are people of conscience, it can seem unbearable, but there is joy to be found in the work, joy that sustains us. It's the kind of joy that isn't, again, about some temporary happiness or being falsely positive. It's joy that looks around and says, oh God, the world is burning, and I will grab a bucket and join hands with those who are putting out the fire. Joy lets us do that. The joy of connection and respite with others is essential to any work we do. Because the world does have enough disconnections, too much destruction and pain. The world really does need more of our singing and dancing, even if we are singing and dancing badly. The world needs us to be more mindful, to pay attention to beauty and to each other. The world needs us to rest when we are tired and to laugh as often as we can. Do what you can do to keep tapping into that well of joy that connects you to yourself, to others, and to the divine. I want you to think about for yourself when you've experienced joy in your life, not just happiness, although joy and happiness can be connected. But when you've experienced joy, where was it in your body? Like me, did your jaw start to tingle and you couldn't help but smile and laugh? Maybe your hands couldn't stay still. Maybe you stood up straighter. Maybe your scalp tingled and you felt like your hair was standing on end. Where in your body have you felt joy? Call up that memory. Feel it right now. And then let me invite you into thinking of the ways you might find joy this week. Maybe you will look at the tightly furled buds that are starting to loosen on the branches in spring. Maybe you will stop and take 5 minutes to look at a daffodil. Maybe you'll make a meal for yourself and someone you love this week. And you'll take a moment to pause and think of all the labor, your own and countless others, that went into bringing that food to your table. Maybe you'll go for a walk with somebody you love or somebody you just met, and you'll share your stories with each other and remember that you are never alone. Maybe you'll send an email or write a thank you card to somebody that you haven't connected to in a long time. Maybe you'll listen to your children or your grandchildren tell some rambling story about Sonic the Hedgehog or Minecraft, and you won't know what you're talking about, but you'll look at their faces and feel that connection. Maybe you'll put down your electronic devices for a few minutes and really look at the person in front of you as if you are seeing them and loving them again for the very first time. Maybe you'll let yourself fly a little this week. Maybe you will start believing that joy is your fuel. And then you'll carry that with you when we come back together, and you will remember that here too is joy. Here too is the wellspring of who you are. And whether you believe in God or you just believe in the person next to you, you will know that here is where joy lives. May it be so. And amen. For our closing song today, I'm going to teach you a song. Maybe some of you know it, and if you do, you'll need to come and help me. We're going to do this a cappella. We might sing badly, but joyfully today, dear ones. This is a song by the Resistance Revival Chorus. They put it out, I believe, during the pandemic. It's when I first encountered it. It's a zipper song. Are you familiar with zipper songs? Yes, thank you, Beth Simpson. It goes like this. The lyrics are, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away." And then we'll sing strength, and then love, and then we'll return to joy. I'm going to sing it through once for you, perhaps badly. Yeah, I'm going to try it. Joyfully. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Shall we do it together? I'll start here with joy. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This strength. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This love. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. One more time with this joy. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Extinguish our chalice this morning with our usual words from Elizabeth Sully Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in blessing and joy, my dear ones. Thank you, Lord.